Of Thursday, October 27th to order. It is now 9:35 a.m. I'm Scott Kahn, the Human Service Commission President. Elizabeth will handle the roll call.
Thank you, Commissioner. Call your name, please say your present. Commissioner Coleman McDonald. Here. Commissioner McDonald.
Rita?
Here. Commissioner McRae.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Khan. Now you're here.
Present.
And Commissioner Singh, I see you on the screen. Thank you. Okay, we have more.
Adoption item number 2 on the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve? All in favor? Aye, so moved. Are there any comments or questions on the commission regarding our agenda? Is there any public comment? Can I have a motion to approve? Okay. Item 3 is the adoption of our September 22nd regular meeting minutes. Are there any comments or questions from the commission? Is there any public comment? Can I have a motion to approve, please? Second. All in favor? Aye. So moved. Item 4 is our executive director's report. Mr. Roy.
Thank you, President. Commissioners, nice to see you again. Thanks to Dan Kaplan for standing in for me last month while I was on vacation. I'll start at the federal level. The public health emergency, which is important for us because it affects the way we operate certain programs, which I'll touch on in a second, has been extended until January 28th. The federal government has informed us that they're going to give us 60 days notice at least before they end the public health emergency. So sort of as each subsequent week goes, sort of we know it'll be extended, accordingly. The 60 days, it might even be 90 days notice, allows us to prepare for the resumption of activities primarily in CalFresh and in Medi-Cal. We're gearing up for the end by partnering with the Department of Public Health and the San Francisco Health Plan to get all of our client addresses updated in Medi-Cal, because the recertification for Medi-Cal benefits was suspended during the pandemic in order to ensure continuity of healthcare coverage. So once the public health emergency ends, we'll be required to do those recertifications over the subsequent 12 months. So the state public health emergency, the governor declared that will end on February 28th, 2023. As the state of emergency is phased out, the administration has created what they're calling a SMARTER plan, and SMARTER is an acronym for shots, masks, awareness, readiness, testing, and education. So this will sort of guide California as we navigate through COVID-19 after the public health emergency ends. Also, the impact will likely be on expanded food support, pandemic EBT, the CalROC's work requirements, sort of everything that was suspended by the state because of the public health emergency. It's not clear how those will be impacted post February 28th. We haven't received any information on resumption of that eligibility work that was paused during the pandemic. Yes, feedback.
Yep.
Should I shut it down? Shut it. I hear it in my ear too. Sorry, just technical. I'm hearing it behind me. Okay. Hopefully everyone can still hear me. At the state level, a couple of bills I want to bring your attention to. The governor, the time period for the governor to sign or veto bills has ended. It was in September. He did sign a number of bills that affect us. I just want to bring one of them to your attention. it's something that we had supported and advocated for. That's the allowance for us to share client information across adult protective services and child welfare services in the format of a multidisciplinary team. Basically, it allows staff to disclose this information for specified and limited purposes of prevention, intervention, treatment of abuse or neglect of minors, but also dependent adults and those over age 65. So very often there's sort of both of those issues arise in families or extended families, and being able to share this information will help us safeguard both kids and as well as adults who might be engaged in adult protective services. The governor did veto a bill that I was a little surprised because it's an issue that he cares about, but it came down to a budget issue, and that is it's Assembly Bill 2306, which would expand the independent living program up to age 22. So ILP is the program that provides services, benefits, and support for former foster youth to help when they emancipate, achieve greater self-sufficiency, housing stability, and the like. The federal government allows states now to provide these services up to age 23. Currently in California, it's only up to age 21. So the bill sought to just extend it not all the way to 23, but to 22. 19 other states have already extended it up to age 23. So we figured the governor would support this. What it came down to is a sort of a budget veto where the funds to expand the services up to age 22 was not included in the budget. So the governor vetoed it. Excuse me. We will make another run at this bill in 2023, though. There's a lot of support lined up behind it, so we're optimistic. However, the first projections from the Department of Finance for fiscal year for the next fiscal year is showing general fund projections down by 16%. So sort of the years and years of billions of dollars in surplus might not materialize this year. It is just the first quarter, so obviously more data to come in. But we're sort of watching that with a keen eye, and that's going to inform really what we put on our legislative and budget agenda for the next fiscal year. Well, starting in January 23, but to go into effect next fiscal year. If it looks like it's a downturn, sometimes we need to shift gears, and instead of asking for new things, we sometimes look to safeguard our existing programs and services. So we'll have a clearer picture in December and January and beyond with respect to that. So locally, the mayor announced, along with Supervisor Melgar, on October 11th, announced the launch of the city's new Department of Early Childhood. So this is the byproduct of a merger between the Office of Early Care and Education, which, as you probably know, was part of HSA. The merger of that office with First Five San Francisco, which is the office charged with providing services to kids and their families aged 0 to 5. So as a result, OECE will no longer be part of the Human Services Agency, and it's now a standalone department. So it's really, as far as we know, the first fully integrated early childhood system of its kind in the state and perhaps the country. It solidifies San Francisco really as a leader in this area, where you combine state funds through First Five to serve kids 0 to 5, along with the huge investments we have locally for childcare support, and really create a robust support system for families, everything from childcare to child health, child nutrition, and family support. Also locally, I'm sure you've read in the news about buses going from Texas and from Florida to other states, buses filled with families and individuals who just crossed the border. So clearly this is a political stunt by the governors of Texas and Florida, but I don't know if I'd say likely, but there certainly is the possibility, given the politics around it, that buses come to California, whether that's Sacramento, Los Angeles, San Francisco. I mean, San Francisco, certainly we have been vocal rightly so, been vocal about us being a sanctuary city and supporting families and individuals from wherever they may come. So because of our sort of vocal nature, we feel it's important to prepare for the potential of buses of families and individuals from Texas, Florida, Arizona, or other states. So the centerpiece of our response, and this is in partnership with the Department of Emergency Management, the Mayor's Office, the Office of Civic Engagement and Immigrant Affairs, Department of Public Health. It's really to set up a shelter to receive families, kids, individuals, so that we can partner then with our other city departments, as well as community-based organizations, to provide services that they need to settle in the United States. So things like translation, legal services, medical care, and then most importantly, assistance with permanent relocation. So data, we've been in conversations with San Diego County, Riverside has a big shelter as well, Los Angeles. And data indicates that about 92% of the people that are coming across the border have a place to go. They have relatives, they have a support network somewhere in the United States where they intend to settle when they cross the border. So if this data holds for us, and there's no reason to believe that it wouldn't, we anticipate the shelter to be very short term, sort of come in, get support, and get connections, and then we provide travel support to families, relatives, wherever the individuals or families wanted to go. So right now we're in the planning phase. We're trying to identify a facility. We have several in mind. And there are weekly meetings with CBOs, predominantly in the mission and outer mission that would provide support. And then today at 11:15, so hopefully I'm able to get there on time. We have a meeting with big cities from across the country, San Diego, LA, Philly, Austin, Texas, DC, and then Department of Homeland Security and Health and Human Services to discuss what's going on at the border. So I will get more information, sort of what, volume, interventions that are successful, and sort of will be helpful to come back from that meeting today to help our planning. Within the agency and economic support and self-sufficiency, today at 2:00, we're holding what we're calling Benefits 101, SFHSA Benefits 101, helping community providers connect people to services and benefits. So the idea around this webinar, and Commissioner Semmel, you've talked a lot about us getting the word out on our services and programs. Obviously, a lot of people go into community-based organizations seeking help and support. They don't come to us first. And so the more that we can get the word out on all the programs we have to offer, what the eligibility criteria may be, how to access them through phone, office, or online, we think will really help CBOs provide sort of a more robust set of services, and also, frankly, help case managers, social workers, and the like who are at CBOs navigate our systems, which can be not intentionally complicated, but sort of as a byproduct of federal and state rules, can be complicated to navigate. So again, that's today at 2:00. I think we have over 100 people signed up for the webinar, and that was a few days ago. So hopefully we can reach more than that. What is it now? Wow, it's now 600 signed up. So that's fantastic. And then I would imagine we'll put the webinar up on our website for folks who can't attend in person. A couple other items around Medi-Cal. So I mentioned the public health emergency received another extension. So during that extension, just as a reminder, Medi-Cal renewals are suspended, meaning people have continuous eligibility, and then negative action delay, meaning no discontinuances for other reasons for Medi-Cal. And so our caseload predictably has grown. We have over 215,000 people on Medi-Cal now. Again, when the public health emergency ends and we have to recertify all of these individuals and households, the concern is that we might not be able to reach them because of address changes. They might not respond to mailings, and we would be forced to discontinue them, which is the last thing we want to do. And so there's really going to be a big lift, public information campaign, as well as shoring up, attempting to shore up our benefits workforce to sort of minimize the number of households that would lose benefits. It's projected, I think the state projection was over 4 million households might be discontinued because of the end of this, because of the resumption of the recertifications. So hopefully that doesn't come to bear. Kind of related to this is again around sort of continuity of healthcare benefits. Senate Bill 260 will be implemented at the end of the public health emergency. And what SB 260 does is it streamlines Covered California, so the healthcare exchange through the Affordable Care Act. So it streamlines Covered California Health Plan enrollment for transitioning Medi-Cal beneficiaries. So if you're no longer eligible for Medi-Cal, you will likely be eligible for a product through Covered California. And so what Covered California will do is automatically select the lowest cost plan available in the region and then notify the beneficiary in writing that their enrollment has shifted from Medi-Cal to Covered California. And then the beneficiary can choose a different plan, can choose to keep it or whatever. So the more we can automate and do automatically, similar to the enrollment of undocs when they were eligible for Medi-Cal, where it's really just kind of a shifting of the program type that they're in, the better, because people will maintain their coverage. Again, CalFresh, the waivers, the county can continue to waive the interview requirement on approved cases up through December 31st, which similar to Medi-Cal, the CalFresh caseload has grown significantly since the beginning of the pandemic. And also CDSS, the State Department of Social Services, has started issuing pandemic EBT food benefit cards for families with children under 6 who are in a CalFresh household. And the maximum issuance of that is $208, which covers August through December. So it's like a supplement for families with kids with children under age 6. Within operations, I just want to bring to your attention that the statewide is undergoing a shift of the eligibility determination IT system. So it's currently in San Francisco, it's called CalWIN, and it's the IT system that we use to get people on benefits and maintain their benefits. It's shifting to a single statewide system called CalSAWS. And they're sort of doing it in phases. I think there's 39 counties up already. We don't shift over until next October, so October 23. I think we're in the final phase, which is good. It allows hopefully some of the bugs to get out of the system. It also allows us to prepare. We've already begun preparing. It's a really big shift. Requires a lot of training, requires organizational change management planning, some re-engineering of our business processes, and we're already working with consultants from Deloitte and Accenture to begin the process. And the goal would be, sort of the smoothest transition possible, that we're altering our business processes to meet the new system, that the training is robust, and that we have sort of help and support on the ground when we do convert it in a year from now. I know it seems like a long way away, but it really is a huge shift that affects over 1,100 users in the agency. Shifting to the County Adult Assistance Program, or CAP, as you know, Care Not Cash was suspended during COVID, due to the inability to place clients in shelter. We restarted it in August, and since the restart of Care Not Cash, and the restart means that unhoused clients would receive a shelter bed, a guaranteed shelter bed, and a reduced CAP grant, rather than getting a full cash grant and remaining homeless. We've reduced our fully cashed out unhoused population by about 500. So as on August 8th, we had about 1,230 clients who were unhoused and receiving a full grant. As of October 25th, only 697. So at this rate, we anticipate reaching our pre-pandemic Care Not Cash level of 0 cash outs by the new year. In addition to CAP, we are finalizing processes related to combining intake and carrying eligibility functions. We think that the change will better serve clients, better coverage for our phone work, better coverage for in-person appointments. It also creates an eligibility worker and a supervisor function that's more equitable, since the positions will be sharing intake and carrying. It's a different type of work for intake versus carrying. We're doing trainings throughout November, and hopefully we'll launch this in early December. And I do want to note that our Employee of the Month this month has worked on both of these initiatives and is being recognized for such. A couple items in our workforce development division. We have been focusing a lot on how to reach households where the children are on benefits, but the adults, because of their immigration status, are not, particularly in CalWorks. And so we've launched a immigrant self-sufficiency services program to assist these families, because undocs can't receive cash aid or services with the state and federal dollars. So our goal is to just, small goal to start, but 100 families of this type to move on a path towards economic self-sufficiency. We have 61 families enrolled to date, and we continue to do outreach, things like the Benefit 101 that we're doing today. A lot of the content is targeted to immigrant households, mixed status households, and how to avail themselves of our services. Our working families credit, and Commissioner Semmel has mentioned before, sort of how we help families get the earned income tax credit. We finished our review of over 3,500 applications for the working families credit. And this is the local tax credit goes on top of the federal tax credit and the state tax credit. There's about 200 clients left that we need to verify information. And so we're well on the way to providing them their cash assistance or their tax credits for the 2021 tax year. And lastly, in our Family and Children Services division, we continue to work with our community providers and internally and across the city to develop our Family First Prevention Service Act prevention plan. This is really developing sort of a community pathway to get supports from our agency for families at risk or where children are at risk of abuse or neglect. It's really an upstream intervention mix of services. And we had a two-day in-person meeting with a series of these, or a whole set of stakeholders, to continue to develop that plan. It's important that we get community buy-in and community understanding of the plan, because they're critical in reaching families that we serve through our agency. Today, you'll see a resolution requesting that November be declared adoption month. So we're doing it in October, per your request a number of months ago. So there's a celebration each year for National Adoption Day, and it's Friday, November 18th at noon in the courthouse. Commissioner Khan, I think you've attended in the past. You are all invited. It's a great event. 7 children will undergo finalization of adoptions during the event. It's a, President Khan can talk about it, but it really is a very moving event to see that happen. And just to get a picture on how many adoptions do we do in the course of a year? Generally around 100. The adoption unit processed 102 finalizations in 2021. We're on a slower pace this year. Last year was about 8 a month. We're now on a pace of about 6 per month this year. So we probably will not reach 100, but looking more like 80 or so. But again, you'll see a more formal invite for the November 18th event. It'd be great to see you there. So I will finish with that and open it up to questions or comments.
Commission. Thank you, Trent. Item 5 is our Employee of the Month. The commission is pleased to announce that Sam Oyang, a program specialist with CAP, is the October 2022 Employee of the Month. Sam has successfully spearheaded many recent CAP initiatives, including the resumption of Care Not Cash for new CAP applicants. CAP is using a new computer shelter reservation system in following new policies and procedures for the Care Not Cash program. Sam developed training materials, scheduled trainings, developed workflows, and drafted new procedures for this massive undertaking. With the CAP Combined Functions Initiative, Sam led multiple subcommittees that established new tasking models and functions for eligibility workers. Along with these two huge projects, Sam successfully headed the CalWin Extreme project, which consisted of inputting a significant amount of newly created and updated correspondence into the CalWin system to enable staff to send automated rather than manual correspondence to clients. Sam conducted trainings for the new CalWin correspondence and recreated the quality control reports that CAP switched over to a new quality control system. Sam has also actively participated in the CalSAWS work groups. CalSAWS is a new computer system that CAP staff will use next year. It replaces the current CalWin database. He has worked on CalSAWS workflow, mapping and training materials. All of this work is in addition to Sam's regular duties, which include conducting quality control reviews and ad hoc 3 o'clock Thursday refresher sessions, along with updating the handbook, creating and updating CAP forms, and taking care of other duties as they arise. Without Sam, all of the monumental changes
So I
to
went to
CAP
this
program
pop-up village thing for
over
pregnant
the
women.
last 2 years could not have been accomplished. Sam is one of the most team-oriented, knowledgeable, polite, and driven staff you will ever encounter.
And she
He's
was talking to-
incredibly dedicated to his work and conducts it with care and consideration. He carefully considers his audience whenever he trains a topic, presents a new project, explains a concept, or shares ideas in a meeting. The camaraderie Sam always shows his coworkers is refreshing and admirable. He possesses a genuine compassion for the people he works with and the clients we serve at the agency. Sam generously shares his knowledge so that not only does he shine, but so does his team. Sam has been responsible for many successful CAP program implementations that directly impact the lives of San Franciscans. He truly cares about the mission of the San Francisco Human Service Agency and presents it every day. Thank you for your hard work, Sam, and congratulations.
Say something.
I want to say nice things.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
With that same phrase, Sam, congratulations. I just want to commissioner and those that don't know what people on CAP, it's a really complicated program. What we have one of the benefits of the program, we have 4 programs now. For separate programs for those who are disabled, separate program for employables, separate benefit package for homeless. Because we're transitioning to a statewide system, there are concerns, for customization of that for us and.
I'll give you an example. I pulled up actually yesterday, I was looking for some rules around CAP and recertification, and I opened up the CAP handbook. The CAP handbook is 467 pages. So it's insanely complicated, and we need folks like Sam who are smart, driven, work super hard to help the folks who are working on the front lines, determining eligibility, getting homeless into shelter, getting clients into SSI. People sort of behind the scenes, making it easier for them to do the work is really important. So Sam, thank you so much for your work on getting Care Not Cash back up, your work on combining caring and intake, and all the work you're doing on CalSAWS. Very well deserved.
Sorry for interrupting this. I apologize. I just want to say thank you for something for the support. And I want to thank everyone that's here to support me, friends and family. I've been with CAP for 10 years now. Started as a clerk at at 1235 Mission Street, home base. And then I moved to IT to kind of expand my learn a lot there. With Natalie, my team, digital service team, that's here today. And then I'm now back at CAP with the, with the programs again. But I want to share this word with everyone at CAP because definitely not all me as a team member all the time. Especially one thing, obviously my director, Jason, you, Edgar, Patty, all of the market, supervisor. I see them working hard every day, basically, because I'm meeting with them every day to kind of help our clients, especially during the pandemic, or throughout the pandemic. So really appreciate having an opportunity on this team. And thank you very much.
I have a quick question for you. Who from your family is here with you today?
Oh, my wife, Sandra, is with me.
Thank you. Item 6 is our consent calendar. Do any of my fellow commissioners want to remove an item for individual discussion? Is there any public comment? Hearing no further requests to speak on this item, is there a motion to approve the consent calendar? Second, all in favor? Aye, so moved. Item 7 on the agenda is a future item. It is for discussion, is not an action item. Commissioners have had a chance to review the proposed language for the parental leave policy to be included in the Human Service Commission bylaws. Do any commissioners wish to discuss the draft amendment?
So a little background, our deputy city attorney reached out to me to let me know that the rental policy, which has been in place for a while, needs to be, and you remove the language, you vote on it.
We're voting on it in the next meeting.
Yes. Get it on the agenda, so the public can see it, and so that you can decide if it's appropriate or not, or when we edit, this will be the time to do that, and then we'll actually approve it next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Item 8A is the resolution proclaiming November as Adoption Month. Angela Ramos will present the proclamation.
Right. So we're looking at special needed, the language. All right.
Yeah.
Next.
This one? Hi, is this on? Good morning, Commissioners and Executive Director Trent Warren. My name is Angela Ramos Reyes. I am a program manager in the Family and Children's Services Division, also known as FCS. I have the oversight of the resource family approval, foster care licensing, adoptions, the supportive transitions units, program serving clients between the ages of 16 and 21, and the FCS Child and Family Teaming Unit. I have worked in the child profession for 21 years. I am honored to be here in front of you all to talk about National Adoption Day. This morning, I am here on behalf of FCS to respectfully request for you to proclaim the month of November as National Adoptions Month. National Adoption Day is a collective nationwide effort focused on raising awareness of children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The first major effort to promote awareness of the need for adoptive families was in 1976, when the state of Massachusetts initiated Adoption Week, an idea that grew in popularity and spread throughout the country. Now the United States dedicates the entire month of November as Adoption Month. During this time, states, communities, public and private organizations, businesses and families come together to celebrate adoption as a positive way to build families. Activities across the nation, such as recognition, dinners, public awareness, and recruitment campaigns, and special events shed light on children who are in need of permanent family homes. You guys heard earlier, I think, our executive director also talked about our courts recognizing it, so it is a big event. I am proud to announce that in San Francisco's, we celebrated the success of 102 finalized adoptions within the fiscal year in 2021. As of now, we've had 55 adoptions and 10 more coming in November. We finalized about 6. We have gone a little bit down, but we have remained open throughout the pandemic with the staff. I enjoy attending the celebration that is held in the court in November to celebrate a National Adoptions Month. I also have the privilege of being the manager of our adoption program. Today, I want to give a special acknowledgement to our adoption staff. I have here the supervisor, Alan Botts, Mariela Padilla, Christine Harris, Brandy Gensler, Sally Regalado, Amber Lee, Gustavo Smock, Tanya Powell, and Connie Simpson. Our staff collaborate with attorneys, the court office, judges, CASA workers, representatives from family builders, foster family agents, and service providers that provide resources and support to our children and caregivers. Thank you so much for your support and your part in making all of this happen. I will read now the proclamation. The proclamation is urging November 2022 to be declared Adoptions Month. Whereas children are key to the state's future success, prosperity, and quality of life. And whereas all children and youth deserve a safe, loving family, yet in San Francisco, as of October 17, there are 561 children, youth, and young adults known as non-minor dependents in foster care. And whereas adoption creates supportive, loving families for children, youth, and young adults, and whereas in San Francisco, we have finalized 102 adoptions in 2021 and 55 adoptions as of now in 2022. And whereas the stability and permanency for foster children, youth, and young adults is of the utmost importance. And whereas permanency is defined as both a process and a result that includes the active involvement of the child or youth. And whereas there are no restrictions on who can adopt based on race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or expression, gender identity, or marital status. And whereas during National Adoption Month, we celebrate all those who have invited a child, youth, and young adult in need into their hearts and into their homes, and express our profound appreciation for all who help make adoptions possible. Whereas there are dedicated community-based organizations within San Francisco that partner with the Human Services Agency to find families for children, youth, and young adults in foster care who are waiting to be adopted. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the San Francisco Human Services Commission proclaim November 2022 as a National Adoption Month and urges all community members to support and engage in activities to strengthen families and communities to provide the optimal environment for children to learn, grow, and thrive, so that all children and youth have the benefit of happy, health, and safe homes. Questions?
Any questions from members of the commission? Thank you very much. I'm gonna get. Can I have a motion for approval? Sure. All in favor? Aye. So moved. Item 8B is the resolution to hold in-person meetings with some members possibly appearing remotely. Are there any questions from the commission? Is there any public comment? Hearing no request to speak on the item, we will close public comment. Is there a motion? Move resolution. All in favor? Aye. Oh, is there a second? All in favor? Aye, so moved. Item 8C, calling on Cindy Lynn.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Cindy Lynn. I am the manager of the citywide food access team here at HSA. Today, I am here to request authorization to enter into a new grant agreement with A. Philip Randolph Institute San Francisco, also known as APRISF, to operate a large-scale holiday food distribution in partnership with the San Francisco Housing Authority and with HSA. For the period of October 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023, in the amount of $250,000 plus a 10% contingency for a total not to exceed amount of $275,000. The goal of this event is to reach 6,000 low-income residents, focusing on public housing residents. And the intention would be to distribute a food bag or box that contains holiday staples so that they can celebrate with their families. Today, I would like to introduce Ms. Jackie Flynn, who is the Executive Director of APRI. She would like to share some comments with the Commission.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jackie Flynn, the Executive Director of the A. Philip Randolph Institute. And I just want to thank you all. We're just so very fortunate to be the lead organizer for this event. I work with dozens, if not hundreds of folks that help organize this. So I also have to tip my hat to all the folks that help execute this large scale distribution. And we've grown significantly from small events across the city where we were serving, maybe 250 residents here, 500 residents there, to now the opportunity to serve 6,000 residents across the city. I mean, it's just, it's phenomenal, and we're just very appreciative of it. And I'm joined by my son, David Flynn, who has volunteered every year since he was 10 years old. And he's 18 now and aspiring to do more public service work. So he's still shadowing us, still having a great time doing this. And I just like to say that I've been with the organization for over 25 years, but the turkey giveaway was the one that really locked me in and has me as the executive director now for 10 years, actually over 10 years. But it's just a pleasure to do this, pleasure to work with you all. And Director Rohr, thank you again. I look forward to seeing you out in the field. But yeah, thank you guys so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
And with that, Commissioners, I'm happy to take any questions if you have any.
I noticed that the Lucky is now open over the weekend there in the plaza. Yeah, I wanted to celebrate us for that, So thank you, yeah.
And we look forward to potentially working with the Luckies for them to contribute some food items to other projects we have in District 10.
So moved.
Any comments from members of the commission? Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, all in favor? So moved.
Yes.
Item 8D. Calling on Cindy Lynn. Once again.
Hello again, Commissioners. For item D, I am requesting authorization to modify the existing grant agreement with La Cocina in order to increase accessibility to the community kitchen and to add additional EBT terminals. This would be for the period of May 1st through April 30th, 2023, for an additional amount of $25,000. Plus 10% contingency for a revised not to exceed amount of $170,738. We are very interested in supporting La Cocina when when we found out that they were expanding EBT terminals at their La Cocina Marketplace, which is in the Tenderloin. They currently have 7 to 8 businesses that operate out of that marketplace. I believe all of them are owned by women and women of color. This is their first time running a food business, so they operate at the marketplace. And initially, when they started out, they were not able to accept EBT transactions, meaning folks who were on CalFresh and eligible for the restaurant meals program, they were not able to use their EBT card to pay for food. And so La Cocina has made it a primary goal of that marketplace to accept EBT transactions. And our additional amount of $25,000 helps them do outreach in the community to let community members know that now they can use their EBT card to go actually buy restaurant meals at La Cocina. If you're not familiar with the restaurant meals program here in San Francisco, the list is primarily fast food restaurants. Not a lot of small mom and pop type restaurants, mostly like Jack in the Box and Burger King. So this would really give opportunity for folks who are eligible for the program to actually buy food that's not fast food. I'm happy to take any questions.
Rush, mama. Okay, go ahead.
Last week, NBC,
The national news had a feature on La Cocina talking about sort of its support for, aspiring chefs, restaurateurs, from immigrant communities and others. It was really a neat segment if you want to check it out.
Yes, that's it.
Are there any other comments from members of the commission? Hearing none, I ask for a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? So moved. Oh, guess who's up? Item 8E, Cindy Lynn.
Sure.
The authorization to modify the existing grant agreement with Dolores Street Community Service.
The final item for item D, I'm requesting authorization to modify an existing grant with Dolores Street Community Services to continue the operation of the Mission Food Hub through the end of the fiscal year for the period of August 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023, in the additional amount of $2.15 million. Plus a 10% contingency for a revised total amount not to exceed $4,537,500. This extension allows them to carry their amazing work through the end of the fiscal year, but also with this additional dollar amount, we are able to help them clear their wait list. Since Dolores Street took over the operations of the Food Hub, they have developed a wait list of approximately 150 community members who would also like to participate in the Food Hub. And so these additional dollars will help them clear the wait list and also just sustain their current operations through the end of the year.
Thank you. Any comments from members of the commission? Is there any public comment? Hearing none, I ask for a motion to approve. Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. So moved. Item 9 is public comment. Comments from the public will be received at this time regarding matters under the jurisdiction of the Human Service Commission. Is there any public comment? All right,
Hi, good morning. My name is Mark Stapiak. I'm a senior eligibility worker, 2905 eligibility worker at 1235 Mission Street with the San Francisco Benefits Net Program. I'm here this morning to raise the fact that we have gathered a petition of over 800 signatures of both eligibility workers at the Human Services Agency and workers at other agencies as well. calling on the agency to honor the union contract in regards to telecommuting. Recently, there's been a change that we consider, according to the union contract, to be arbitrary and capricious. Changing our in-office days from 2 days a week to 3 days a week. We've raised this issue not just on the basis of the union contract, but also for health and safety reasons. The health and safety reason is the fact that the pandemic is ongoing and killing up to 400 people a week, or excuse me, a day, and 3,000 people a week. Life expectancy has declined nationally by up to 2.7 years. And for people of color, it's way higher as the pandemic continues to ravage BIPOC populations disproportionately. We think that we've demonstrated over the course of the pandemic that we have served more clients than ever. And under conditions where we would work 3 days a week from home and 2 days in the office. There's been recent reports in the newspapers that a tridemic is coming, a pandemic, including both COVID, or I should say both, but all three: COVID, the flu, and a new respiratory virus called RSV. For these reasons, we believe that keeping ourselves in home as much as possible with a demonstrated great performance, that we should stick to that. I would like to present this petition to the commission, particularly to Trent. And additionally, I do want to raise another matter, which is safety in regards to a recent incident at 1235 Mission, where we had a client who came into 1235. They were overdosing, fell out on the floor, and when they fell on the floor, a gun fell out of their waistline. And this is a terrible oversight by the security agency that the agency has contracted with, and demonstrates that we need heightened safety measures at our site and other sites. We feel like we literally dodged a bullet, and we would entreat the commission and the executive director to take all measures possible to rectify the situation. Thank you. I would, and here I'd like to enter the petition into the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we now have seven.
Hi, good morning, Commissioner. My name is Stella. I am also an eligibility worker at 1235 Mission. And I just want to, today, there are many things that I want to talk about, but I want to focus on one thing, and that is management response to crisis, incidents, and our safety. And there was an incident last July, on July 20th, 2021, in the height of the pandemic. There were a few of us who were in the building every single day, carrying on our job. A client was found to be in the lobby, kind of asleep, and being very quiet. And so nobody noticed him, not even the security that was there. And all of a sudden, after 2 hours, he jumped up and took a running leap through the plexiglass, knocking over the plexi, knocking over the computer monitors, the phones, everything, and it was on the floor. The plexi was not replaced until over a month later, when a second incident happened, when an irate client came in with a cup of water, thank God it was only water, and reached in through the plexi that was broken and threw it at a worker. So I want to know why it took so long for that plexi to be replaced. And then the second incident, about the gun incident on October 7th, that happened Friday night before the long weekend, at about 10 minutes to 5, I believe.
when a client was, noticed that he was asleep, but nobody took action. And until they found that he basically OD'd and a gun fell out. And no one knew about this incident except for some people that were there, and I was one of them. I was actually in the lobby when he was there. I heard the security guard yelling, "Sir, wake up, sir, wake up," but wasn't able to wake him up because he was ODing. And I didn't hear about the incident until much later that night. And there was no response from management on Tuesday. Until workers sent an email out to management to say, hey, you know what? We want to talk about this. So the response from management came at 4:45 p.m. on Tuesday, after the long weekend. And we were told that, oh yeah, we talked about it, we discussed it at the joint supervisor meeting this morning, but nothing was sent out. We were not informed until much later that day, and I would like to see that changed. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have one more interesting one and then one. So next, please call to the podium, Ron.
My name is LaRonda Mayfield. I'm a 2905 senior EW at 1235 Mission Street for CalFresh program. I have been there for 30 years. On that book. And to consider how long I've seen a lot. We have went from, it's been a pleasure to come to work, to, are we gonna get through the day? We are asking for your help. It is terrifying to go to work every day. I am one of the few, along with Stella, I am there Monday through Friday, even through the pandemic, I have been there. So I've seen it and went through it. We went through a lot, but these past couple of years and this past year has been the absolute worst. When you can't walk down the sidewalk to get to work because it's filled with drug dealers, people using drugs and people ODing on the street, and we have to literally walk down the street to get to the next corner. It's horrible, and we are asking for your help. I was the one that last year when the client just lost it and came charging towards me and the social worker and crashed through the plexiglass. If we had not turned and ran, it would have landed on me. I was there when the guy OD'd and the gun hit the floor. What is it going to take for us to get help? We need your help at 1235 Mission, not only at the other departments, but at 1235 Mission. We are literally putting our lives on the line every single day, coming and going. And now, when we get to work, it's dark. It's about to be dark when we leave from work. We're scared to walk down the street to try to get to the bar station or even get to our cars, thinking, am I going to make it safely? Something needs to be done. We need your help. I never thought I'd see the day I'm ready to go. I love my job. I love helping the people. But now I can't take it more. I hope you guys are listening to us because we need your help. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the public comment. I appreciate it. Normally the protocol isn't to respond to public comment, but I want to because I agree. When the city stepped up his enforcement in the Tenderloin to clear the Tenderloin of drug dealing and other activities that were affecting families who live there and others who live there, the problem moved south, and it moved south to Mission Street between 7th and 9th. it is, I've been here 2 decades, it's the worst it's ever been. I mean, the speaker's right. People laying on the sidewalk, ODs. I witnessed 2 drug deals in line. Across the street from Mission, there's tents and people camping, and you really can't even pass on the sidewalk. I've asked for emails from staff to, give me updates, people being accosted, people being followed, people being sworn at, completely 100% unacceptable. So I have been for the last 4 weeks, in touch with the Deputy Chief of Police, David Lazar, the Mayor's Office, DPW, and the Department of Public Health to address the situation. The last week, it's been better. Police are supposed to be there throughout the day. When I drive by in the morning, they're there in the morning. They're not there continually like they're supposed to be. I have a daily call with the Mayor's Deputy Chief of Staff, who's been tasked with cleaning up this part of the city. So conditions will improve. I'm confident. It's sadly a fabric of San Francisco recently over the last year or two, fentanyl, COVID and the impacts of that, but it is unacceptable. And clients and staff shouldn't have to walk through that gauntlet, walk around tents, walk into the street to get to and from work or to and from lunch. So we're on it. And again, it's looked better the last week, but it has to be continual vigilance by the police mostly, but also DPW cleaning. With respect to the lobby incident, happened late on a Friday before a 3-day weekend. So we couldn't get a memo out to staff until late Tuesday because we had to figure out what actually happened. The individual got into the lobby with a gun. It was behind his belt buckle. The metal detector went off. The guard violated procedure by not checking the belt. So we have since revised the procedure to say no one gets through a metal detector when it beeps, period. They only get in the building when it doesn't beep anymore. We've added security. We're exploring getting an additional sheriff's deputy there. We have 1 there all the time. I think 2 would be helpful. We are not allowing people to sleep in our lobby anymore. People are going in there, not even transacting business. They're just there, sometimes strung out, sometimes who knows doing what. So they're going to be roving the lobbies every 20 minutes to make sure that that doesn't happen. There's a whole series of steps we're taking, but I really do want the 3 speakers to know, and your colleagues, that we are taking this very seriously. It wasn't just the gun incident that happened on Friday. We were in discussions with the police well before that, really when folks had to start coming back 3 days a week. So the highest levels of city government, including the woman who sits in room 200, Mayor Breed, is aware of this, and the direction to the police chief and to DPW is from her directly. I also sit in meetings. I've been invited now to sit in to the biweekly street response committee meetings, which is police chief, fire chief, public health, mayor's office, Department of Emergency Management, to bring these issues to the attention of those who are charged with kind of remedying what's going on the streets. So I appreciate the public comments, and I also want to for staff at 1235 who are listening or who are here, to encourage you to keep emailing me and your managers about incidents that happen, so we're aware, because we can't be there all day. So thanks.
Is there any other public comment?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Jesse.
Jesse, we can't hear you.
Okay, we're gonna go to Sheree Miller.
We can't hear you, Sherry.
Is it on universal view? So there's no, well. Looks like everyone's on view.
Hello, can you all hear me? Okay, great. Thank you for your patience. I apologize, having some technical difficulties. My name's Jesse. I'm a eligibility worker here at the City and County of San Francisco Human Service Agency. I work out of 1440 Harrison. Also, I'm a shop steward with the SEIU 10-to-1 HSA chapter. I'm here to speak about the interrelated issues of telecommuting and safety in the workplace. I'm going to speak specifically to the telecommuter arrangement part of it. We believe that the recent changes in telecommuting arrangements for the workers at HSA were arbitrary and unnecessary. We believe there was no business case for it. We believe quite the opposite. Our management has repeatedly in their communications to us made the business case that things were great with 3 days of work, 3 days working from home, 2 days in the office. We were able to do our work and we were able to improve performance in a lot of measurable ways, which they described to us over the course of many communications in 2021 and 2022. So when we were blindsided with the change, the arbitrary change to telecommuting, we understandably were wondering why. And all we got was that the mayor's forcing us. The mayor herself was individually forcing the Human Service Agency to cause eligibility workers at 1440, 1235, and other programs to come in 3 days a week in the office instead of 2 days a week in the office. This doesn't sound like something that the mayor would take a personal interest in. And I feel like it just speaks to further to the arbitrary nature of the change. We really are seeking to engage with somebody who will take responsibility for this telecommute agreement and work with us so that we can have the best balance of in person and in the office to satisfy the needs, to provide the services that we provide. Our in-person requirements, our service counter work is a small percentage of what most of these eligibility workers do. A large percentage of what we do is call center work. They call us call center workers when they want to tell us we're doing a good job. They tell us we're not a call center when they need us in the office or want us arbitrarily to be in the office an extra day every part of the week. Another part of our work is transactional processing. As eligibility workers, the task work that we do is substantially transactional. And that also would speak to not needing us to be in the office for the task portion of our work, not needing us to be in the office for most of our functions. The single function requiring us to be in the office is really a small portion of the job that we do. So we're really hoping to engage with Trent or HR or somebody on this, and let's get it right for the workers and for the public. And we're here to help you, help us, help the public. So thanks for your time and thank you.
Elizabeth, don't call me.
James McGrath. Vice President, Mr. Rohr.
Sure. It's coming up.
I imagine it will come up in future public comment that the requirement that city employees come in 3 days a week in person is a citywide policy. It's not an HSA policy. It came from the city's Department of Human Resources, from the mayor's office. We don't have any latitude in bringing people back fewer than 3 days a week. I understand the points made by the gentleman in public comment and do agree that a lot of the work can be done remotely. But this agency does not have the ability to act alone and to set our own telecommuting, given the city guidelines that it has to be a minimum of 3 days a week in the office. Just want those who are attending to understand it's not an HSA policy, it's a city policy.
Just a question, Mr. Rohr, is there ongoing negotiations going on between the union and the agency?
Meeting scheduled for Monday regarding the safety issues at 1235 Mission. I imagine telecommuting might be raised, but again, I don't have any latitude as director to reduce number of days in the office.
Well, one of the questions was, who is it that they should be talking?
The head of the city's Department of Human Resources, who did receive the petition of 800 names as well as myself and the mayor.
So at this point, is there anything that we should do?
There's more public comment, I think.
Oh, okay, good.
Should we just have you to review, so just one more round, otherwise we can do comment and each time. Okay, I put a minute, we can turn on the chat again, we're ready to, you know.
So we're now, so we've asked for public comment. Trent Rohr spoken. So item 10, I call to order item 10 on the agenda, which is a closed meeting pursuant to the government code and San Francisco Administrative Code, considering Executive Director Rohr's performance under the Management Classification and Compensation Plan post-appointment compensation adjustment process. Closed session. Into open session.
We can do a motion when it is closed. To the motion to decide whether to disclose what was discussed in the closed session.
So, okay,
So
is there,
if you don't want to, someone makes a motion that says a move we not disclose, or what you can disclose is you receive the performance evaluation plan for this year, you approve it. You want
yeah,
to
we
see
should do that. Why don't you make that?
Okay, I move that we receive and accept the performance evaluation of the executive director for 2022.
All in favor?
Aye,
So moved.
and that we approve or endorse the request for compensation submitted by the executive director. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Is there any public comment?
I don't see any hands.
Hearing, pardon me?
I don't see any.
Okay. We assume no public comment, so then our meeting is adjourned.